Most people buying a pickleball paddle are making the same expensive mistake, spending more because they assume more expensive means more control. I've thoroughly researched and compared the top models on the market right now, and I can tell you up front, one paddle under $100 consistently outperforms options costing nearly twice as much. Links to every paddle are in the description. Stick around until the end because the #1 pick is genuinely not what anyone expects. Buy the wrong pickleball paddle and you'll feel it within a week. Dead spots, arm fatigue, or that hollow plastic slap that tells everyone on the court you made a $40 mistake. I've gone deep on 5 paddles across a wide price range, pulling apart the specs, the construction, the real buyer feedback, and putting them side by side so you don't have to guess. We're covering everything from the budget-friendly entry points to the premium carbon face builds that serious players actually use. Some of these are genuinely great. One of them is quietly overpriced for what you get. And one, sitting at a price that'll surprise you, consistently outperforms options costing nearly twice as much. By the end of this, you'll know exactly which paddle fits your game and your budget, and you won't have to second-guess the checkout button. Let's get into it. So here's the scenario. You want a name you've actually heard of, a brand with credibility, something you can hand to a family member and say, "Yeah, this is legit." That's exactly where the CellCirk SLK Neo 2.0 bundle comes in. And at $89.99 at the time of this video, it's priced like a premium pick without quite delivering premium performance. CellCirk is a legitimate market leader, family-owned, well-respected in the pickleball world, and they back this set with a limited lifetime warranty plus a 30-day guarantee. That's real peace of mind, and it's worth something. The paddles themselves weigh 7.5 ounces each, nicely balanced, not too heavy, not too whippy. You get a G4 graphite surface with SpinFlex texture for spin control, a 13mm polymer SX4 honeycomb core with a generous sweet spot, and an ultra-cushion grip at 4.25 inches circumference. It all sounds good on paper, and honestly, it plays fine. But here's where I have to be straight with you. At this price point, a few competitors on this list deliver comparable feel and nearly identical control for noticeably less money. The CellCirk name is doing some of the heavy lifting on that sticker. Also worth knowing, a lawsuit was filed against CellCirk in late 2023 over digital accessibility issues with their website, and there are some BBB complaints on record. Not a deal breaker, but not nothing either. This is the right paddle for someone who wants warranty confidence and a trusted name above all else. If raw value per dollar is your priority though, stick around, because the next paddle changes the math considerably. Raw value per dollar. That's the exact scenario the Baggail pickleball paddle set was built for. At $42.29 at the time of this video, you're getting 4 paddles, 4 balls, 2 indoor, 2 outdoor, and a carry bag. For that price, most sets give you 2 paddles and a prayer. This one gives you a full game day out of one box. The paddles themselves run 7.78 to 7.8 ounces, sitting squarely in that medium weight sweet spot where you're not sacrificing arm control for power. The fiberglass surface sits over a 16mm polypropylene honeycomb core. That's the same core depth you see on paddles costing twice this much, and it's USAPA approved, meaning you can actually show up to a sanctioned tournament with these without getting turned away at the door. The 7.5-inch widened face adds real sweet spot coverage, and the 4.25-inch perforated grip handles sweat reasonably well during longer sessions. Now, the trade-offs. Fiberglass is a step below carbon fiber for spin generation and touch at the kitchen line. If you're a player who lives on dink battles and precise drop shots, you'll feel the ceiling on this surface. And with limited independent reviewer testing available beyond the 4.7-star rating across over 1,100 buyers, some of the performance claims are harder to verify in competitive conditions than we'd like. This is the set for the family reunion, the new player figuring out if pickleball sticks, or the group that wants 4 rackets ready without a second thought. Not the one for your A-game tournament push. And speaking of pushing your game, the next paddle on this list is where things start getting genuinely interesting. Here's the scenario. 4 people show up to your backyard. Nobody owns a paddle, and you need to be playing in 10 minutes. That's exactly what the John K. Pickleball paddle set was built for. At $59.90 at the time of this video, you're getting 4 paddles, 2 outdoor balls, 2 indoor balls, a carry bag, and 4 replacement grip tapes. The entire setup for $60. That math is genuinely hard to argue with. Each paddle uses a fiberglass face over a PP honeycomb core. That core keeps the noise down compared to a Nomex construction, which matters if your neighbors have opinions. Weight sits at 8 ounces per paddle, and the 4.25-inch grip fits most hands without forcing you to re-tape immediately. These are USAPA approved, meaning they clear the bar for tournament-legal play. Not that your backyard barbecue requires that, but it tells you the dimensions and materials passed a real standard, not just a marketing checklist. Over 6,300 reviews at a 4.7 rating says families are buying this, playing it, and not coming back angry. Who is it for? Casual players, new families getting into the sport, anyone hosting guests who won't always own gear. You cover everyone in one purchase. Now, the trade-offs. Fiberglass is functional, but it's the entry tier of surface materials. Serious intermediate players who've developed feel and spin preference will outgrow this fairly quickly. There's no specialized core engineering here. It's honest, reliable, and unambitious by design. But if ambition is what you're after, the next paddle on this list actually has that conversation. So here's the scenario. You've outgrown your starter paddle. You want real spin and real power, but you're not ready to drop $100+ on something you might hate. At $40.99 at the time of this video, the TENVINA Pickleball paddle is built for exactly that gap, and it comes dangerously close to taking the top spot on this entire list. The face is multi-layer T700SC carbon fiber, matte textured, and manufactured using dry jet wet spinning technology. What that actually means on court: the surface grabs the ball, generates serious spin, and holds up through extended aggressive play without breaking down. Underneath that, a polymer honeycomb core expands the sweet spot so mishits don't punish you the way a stiffer paddle would. Here's what separates TENVINA from most paddles in this price range. 4 shape and thickness configurations. Elongated at 16.4 inches for offensive reach, wider at 8.0 inches for defensive coverage, 16 millimeters thickness for feel and pop, 13 millimeters for faster swing speed. That's not a gimmick. That's actually letting you buy the paddle that fits your game instead of compromising on someone else's default choice. It's USAPA approved, so it's legal for sanctioned play. Over 1,000 reviews, averaging 4.8 out of 5 stars. And TENVINA backs it with a 1-year after-sales warranty, rare at this price. Who's this for? Intermediate players who want competitive-level materials without paying competitive-level prices. If you're still developing your style, the 4 configurations are genuinely useful. Now, the trade-offs. There's no specific data on edge guard durability under heavy use, and at $40.99, advanced players may eventually want more precision engineering in the core. This is a performance paddle for developing players, not a ceiling. But speaking of ceilings, the #1 pick raises that ceiling entirely. Here it is. At $25.99 at the time of this video, the JP Winlook Premium Pickleball set is the #1 pick, and honestly, it almost shouldn't be this easy to defend. A complete set, graphite carbon fiber face, USAPA approved, and a 4.7 out of 5 rating across nearly 4,800 reviews. That last number matters. That's not a handful of friends leaving 5 stars. That's a verdict from a crowd. The paddle itself runs 7.8 ounces, light enough that your arm isn't screaming after a 2-hour session, heavy enough that you're not fighting the wind on every swing. The graphite face is the real story here. It stiffens the contact zone, which translates directly to cleaner spin and more predictable power without you having to overswing to generate pace. Underneath that, a polymer honeycomb core absorbs the harsh stuff and keeps the feel soft on touch shots. The grip is cushioned and non-slip, which sounds like marketing copy until your hands are sweating in August and you're grateful it's still in your hand. You also get 3 high-visibility balls with precisely drilled holes for consistent flight, plus a carry bag that's actually sturdy. Everything $26. Who is this for? Anyone from a first-timer buying their first set to a casual weekend regular who wants real equipment without spending real money. It's the no-regret purchase. The trade-off? Advanced competitive players will eventually want a purpose-built single paddle with a more specialized core profile. But for the overwhelming majority of people watching this video right now, that ceiling is nowhere near where you're playing. This is the one. So let's put them side by side because this is where the decision actually gets made. Price range across these paddles runs from budget-friendly all the way to premium territory. And that gap is not just marketing. You feel it in the material, the response, the longevity. The cheaper options tend to use fiberglass faces, which are forgiving but bleed spin control. Step up to carbon fiber, and the touch changes completely. More precision, less margin for error. That trade-off matters depending on your game. Casual player, 3 times a week, not drilling resets for 2 hours? The mid-tier picks here are genuinely enough. You are not leaving points on the table. But if you are playing competitive rec or pushing into open divisions, the core consistency and surface texture on the top picks are not a luxury. They are the difference between a ball you placed and a ball that just kind of went. Durability tells the same story. Budget paddles show edge wear within months. The top 2 here? Many owners report a full season without meaningful degradation. Pick for where you are now, but lean toward where you want to be. So here's where we land. The budget picks aren't bad. They're just honest about their ceiling. You'll outgrow them, and that second purchase costs you more than buying right the first time. The mid-tier options split the field. Solid for casual play, limiting the moment you get competitive. But the number 1 pick earned that spot the hard way. Better materials, better longevity, and a feel at contact that the cheaper paddles simply don't replicate. No firmware workaround, no break-in asterisk. Just pick it up and it's right. If you're serious about improving in 2026, that's the one you'll stop second-guessing 3 months from now. The others are fine. This one's correct. Links are in the description. Check the current prices before you decide. All the links are in the description. Current prices, no markup. If this saved you from a bad buy, subscribe. We do this every week. Drop your pick in the comments. Genuinely curious whether you went with the top choice or talked yourself out of it.